Videos like this are made possible by viewers like you. There's a lot of iffy stuff in the New Age, and while there are a handful of spiritual teachers out there who genuinely want to help and aren't, trying to swindle you, there's also a lot of con artists. In this video, we're going to talk about how to spot a New Age fraud. Let's talk about this. Hello everyone, if you're new here, I'm Andy Fellows and I make videos on cult, skepticism and making sense of life after New Age spirituality. If you're interested in a more grounded and skeptical approach of New Age spirituality, then why not subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. If you've been following this channel a while, then you'll know that sometimes I talk about cult red flags, and cult leaders love a bit of wild, ethereal New Age. In this video, I'm going to highlight some signs that a prominent or admired figure might not be so trustworthy and may even be out to fleece you. Some of these signs fall on both sides of the cult leader line, so if you're worried there might be a cult leader, then check out some of my other videos on how cults work. Number 1, they claim to have unique, unusual or supernatural abilities they won't demonstrate. In New Age circles, everyone and their mum's got special powers. Kathy can see auras, Kathy's mum's quite chatty with the dead, and Kathy's mum's mum used to be a medical medium. And that's all fine and well as long as you've got one foot in reality. Maybe the medical medium thing's crossing the line a little bit. But when Kathy's mum starts claiming she's the literal only person who can channel this one specific dead bloke, red flags go up. Why has this 6 million year old mountain wizard chosen this specific middle-aged white woman in suburbia to speak through? And if all Magic Melvin does when he speaks through Kathy's mum is make vague declarations without showing his working out, then you've got to wonder whether Kathy's mum's taking the piss a little bit. First protocol for me, demand a demonstration. If the answer is anything other than yes, we've found an opening. It is likely they'll try and special plead out of it though, like, oh, it doesn't work like that, or they speak to me, I don't speak to them, they only speak to me when they have a message for me, they won't do it on cue. Also, expert special power grifters will obfuscate with distracting mystical language and ethereal concepts. A huge red flag is when a claim that's being made is unfalsifiable. For example, I can go invisible, but I can only do it when nobody's looking. One thing that you'll see sort of semi-often is that they'll claim to have accomplished some impossible feat. Although I feel like as often as you see someone that is claiming to have accomplished an impossible feat, you'll see someone who is doing its sort of cousin crime, which is like claiming to have accomplished an impossible feat that's actually quite possible. For example, like walking over hot coals, apparently that's quite doable because hot coals aren't very good conductors of heat, so as long as you don't like take the piss and sort of dawdle, you'll probably be fine. Also, if their magic power is supposed to be like mind reading or something like that, make sure you've done your reading on what cold reading is and how it works. Especially if the ability the person's claiming to have entails knowing things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to know. And we'll circle back round to this in a minute. 2. One rule for them, one rule for everybody else. Think of breatharian leaders getting caught sneaking a chunk of chicken pie, or a love and light guru standing at the front of a workshop telling everybody to let the serenity and the love and the peace of the universe flow through them forever and ever. But while they're doing that, they're like violently berating their followers for not listening to them and following their instructions to the letter. If you're expected to take them at their word, but then you have to justify everything you're doing and explain exactly why you're not going to do things their way, then there's an imbalance of expectation there. It's one rule for them and one rule for everybody else. I can think of a few people like that. I'm not naming any names, but I can think of a few people like that. In my experience, you can also expect a person like this to scrutinize every little thing you do and hold you to an unreasonable standard of justification for any of the reasons that you're doing any of the things that you're doing, while also letting themselves off the hook really, really fucking easily about why they're doing the things that they're doing. People believing you've got special powers comes in really handy here. Like, oh, I'm doing it this way because spirit told me to, but you should definitely do it that more difficult, demeaning way that benefits me. Why? Because of this complex reason that I'm making up just now and weaving into my mythology. Which leads me to my next point. 3. They act as if they're more than human or deserve special reverence and expect to be treated and spoken about as such. This one encroaches hugely on cult leader ground as well as dark tetrad behavior as far as I'm concerned. New Age frauds do not want to wait until they die to get sainted. They want it all and they want it now. Plus, if they're dead, how can they enjoy the adoration they obviously deserve? To remedy the long wait, they act as if they're the best thing since sliced bread now. Oftentimes they expect appreciation before they've earned it and may well have people close to them who give them what they want in this regard. Be it unwarranted adoration, unearned laughter, or unnerving reverence. And to ensure that their usually fictional, if not at least reality-adjacent reputation precedes them everywhere they go. Employees of scam artists and inner circle members of cult leaders have been known to go ahead to venues before an event to feel out the crowd. On occasion, postcards asking for details on why a person is attending that particular event are used. Later, the information gathered makes a supposedly supernatural reading more impressive or convincing. 4. They make bold claims that appear to buck trends or contradict known facts. For every industry, there's an alt scene pushing back and selling an alternative inside-out version of reality. The New Age is host to all sorts of quote-unquote controversial figures who claim truthfully or not so truthfully to have worked in all manner of different fields. From medicine to psychology to epigenetics and, of course, the Woo Brain's very favourite scapegoat, quantum physics. Bold, trend-bucking claims are usually served with a side of personal empowerment that blends so nicely with the overall conceited overtones of New Age spirituality. Just sciencey enough to make the undiscerning New Ager feel like they've learned something today. The leading cause of sickness in the world is inflammation. When you change the way you look at particles, the particles you look at change. It's also not unheard of that they'll turn commonplace beliefs inside out, repurposing them to fit their own ends. Typically financial ends, but sometimes just to stroke their own ego. Most often, this involves a near labyrinthine pseudo-intellectual rewriting of the facts, and every rewriting of the facts includes a few good straw men of common sense notions. All of this without anything to actually verify the claims being made. You'll either get some hastily scrawled diagram on some big paper that's honestly better suited to being fucking hand painted in shit on some public toilet wall than being presented to an audience in any kind of a public venue, or you'll get some sort of really vaguely sciencey PowerPoint slides and still no actual evidence. You just got to believe them. Number 5, they sell a panacea. You know that big thing in your life that I've just convinced you is the source of all your problems on the basis of my superpowers and, vaguely sciencey words? Yeah, bad that. But never fear, I've got the solution right here. My 100% organic, gluten-free, frequency alignment, fermented freedom supplement juice retreat workshop course. It's snake oil. It's snake oil. Every fraud's got one, and their magic solution's going to solve your whole life for you. Every single bit of it. Yep. It doesn't matter what the problem is, this thing can fix it. Painful breakup? Try my product. Broken leg? Try my product. What was that? Did a swarm of intelligent alien elephant bees teleport your entire family to a parallel universe? Did I mention my product? Right, I'm sorry, but tell me we don't look the same. Anyway, whatever your struggle is, I can help. All roads lead to me. I am the answer and I am the way. Suckle on my snake oil syringe and know freedom. Follow me, leave your life behind, and skip single file into the forest with me. I feel like any of the things on this list are reason enough to double take, but if you notice a couple of these and full on about turn and walk out the way you came, I think that's fair enough and I wouldn't blame you for it. In my opinion, if they're doing these things, then they're probably a fraud or, at least looking to sort of line their pockets first and foremost. So I would say proceed with caution if at all, or, with a hidden camera, Darren Brown style. I'm Andy Fellows and I'm here pretty much every Thursday. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. And if you're enjoying the kind of videos I'm making, then please consider supporting the channel on Patreon. It makes a huge difference and I'm always really grateful for anybody at all that becomes a patron. Otherwise, please be kind and ask good questions, and I'll see you in the next one.